Yeah, to start with the meditation, you can be in any kind of shape you want. So you can have the legs out long, you can have the knees up to the sky, you can have a bolster underneath the knees, whatever kind of feels comfortable for you. So just coming down and settling, finding that shape which is comfortable. The hands can be resting on the body. I quite like that shape, or they can be down to the side as well, palms up or down. And as you arrive, just settling, making any little movements or adjustments that you need to feel settled here and supported by the earth. And just begin by arriving, welcoming yourself to the practice this morning. Noticing where your body meets the earth, feeling that support of the earth beneath you. And also that support of the space, the sky above you, balance between earth and sky, feeling supported by space, sky, earth, all around the body. You're feeling this kind of support where you are. And just taking a little check-in this morning of how you arrived. So starting with the physical body, just noticing how the body feels this morning. Awareness to the mental body, the mind. How's the mind this morning? Do you feel quite spacious in the mind, quite open? Have your thoughts been quite busy? Just noticing, letting it be as it is. Emotional body, how are you feeling this morning? Something, whatever is coming up or is present, just to be, no need to judge. And checking in with the energetic body. So how is your energy levels this morning? Do you feel quite energetic? Or do you feel maybe a little bit slower? Maybe the energy is a bit lower today. Maybe there's one part of the body which feels more prominent for you this morning. Maybe the physical body is kind of more prominent, or maybe it's the mental, emotional, energetic body, just noticing that. And as you check in, just thinking to yourself, what do I need from this practice this morning? So we are going to be doing a few more standing shapes today, a little bit more active than maybe some of the other classes, still gentle, still slow. Just checking in and thinking, what do I need? And if that's maybe slower practice, or maybe something a bit nourishing, or you just want to honor your body this morning. And of course, throughout the practice, just feeling free at any time to come out of any shapes, take any variations, any options I give or you want to make. Coming down, resting, really honoring yourself, your full body this morning. And as always, we want to move into pleasure away from pain. So if anything's uncomfortable, if anything feels not quite right or painful, come out of it 10%, 50%, come into a different shape. Just honor what your body needs. And bringing awareness to the breath here. And noticing how the body moves as you inhale and exhale. That expansion as you inhale, rib cage, lungs, belly. Noticing other parts of the body as they move with the inhale, and then the exhale, that condensing inwards, that hugging inwards. And seeing if you can allow your breath to be quite soft and light. So we want slow, deep breaths as opposed to fast, big breaths. Seeing if you can breathe through the nose, if it's comfortable to do so. We're seeing this relationship between movement of the lungs, the diaphragm here, thoracic diaphragm, and the pelvic floor, the pelvic sling, which moves in sync with the thoracic diaphragm. Maybe noticing the relationship between those places and the soft palate, that soft part in the jaw and the mouth and the crown of the head. As we breathe, these domes, these diaphragms of the body moving in sync with one another. And if you're not sure or confused, just allowing yourself to feel like your body is moving in sync or is connected in some way, and just feeling into that connection, that communication between these spaces, these parts of the body. And if it feels comfortable, you can also extend the exhale slightly here. Extending the exhale by an extra 2 or 3 breaths longer than the inhale. And you can count that, so maybe breathing in for 4, breathing out for 6, or you can just feel it in your body. Feel that exhale extending, elongating. And just taking 3 to 5 more breath cycles here before we start with some movement. Really allowing full body, full self to arrive. Bringing yourself into the present, into this practice. Cool, so we're going to start with some movement. So if your legs are out long like mine, I'm just allowing one foot to slide up to the mat, knee up to the sky, and the other foot to slide up and meet. And then bringing the feet and the knees together and taking a little step out of the toes, little step out of the heels, so those legs come to around that hip width distance apart. And then just having a little shuffle of the feet slightly out or in, forward and back, just finding that place which is comfortable for you. Want a little gap here between the buttocks and the feet as well. And so we're going to take our arch and flatten movement. We're going to start with the flatten today. So in the previous class we've done, we started with the arch and the flatten. I'm going to start with the flatten this morning. So the flatten, when we exhale, bringing the back of the body towards the mat, the back flattens down, tailbone rolls up, and chin might nod away from chest. So you're tightening that belly here. And then as you inhale, breathing the body back up to neutral, to that resting shape. Maybe having a little resting breath. And then next time on your exhale, exhaling, flattening the body down, back of the body comes down to the mat, tailbone rolls up, chin might nod away from the chest. Feel that tightness in the belly, so the ribs have moved towards the pelvis. And then inhaling into the belly to come back up to that resting shape. So the pelvis is staying on the floor for now. We're not coming into a bridge just yet. Let's take that one more time. So exhaling, flattening, lumbar spine, back of the body comes down to the mat. Tailbone rolls up, chin might nod away from the chest slightly. You can even use those hands to kind of pull or tease down those ribs towards the pelvis. And just stay here for a couple of breaths, feeling that tightness in the belly as you flatten down. And then the next time you inhale, really inhaling into that tightening of the belly, releasing the belly, feeling the belly opening, releasing, coming back to that resting shape. Just take a couple of resting breaths here before we move to the arch. And so the arch is, we're going to move in the opposite direction. So on your next inhale, arching the back up, tailbone rolls down towards the mat, chin might nod towards the chest. Noticing those back muscles tightening, and then as you exhale, bring the body back down to that resting shape. And take that 3 or 4 times again here. So inhaling, back of the body arches up, noticing those back muscles tightening, tailbone rolls down, chin nods to the chest. And as you exhale, slow motion release, still those back muscles releasing down towards the mat. Just coming back to that resting shape for now. Let's take that one more time. Maybe it's your 3rd or 4th time. Inhaling, arching upwards, tailbone rolls down, and just pause here, noticing those back muscles. You can even give a little feel of the back of the body here. Take a few breaths. And feel that belly is released and relaxed as well. And then on your next exhale, breathing the body back down to that resting shape. Just take a couple of breaths here, resting breaths. And then let's combine that flatten and that arch together. So again, starting with the flatten this time. Just a little bit of a change for the brain if you've taken this movement a few times with me. So your next exhale, flattening the body down. Back of the body comes down, belly tightens, tailbone rolls up, chin might nod away from the chest. And then as you inhale, inhaling up into that arch, tailbone rolls down, chin nods towards the chest. And take that a few times in your own way with your own breath, exhaling, flattening. And then as you inhale, you come through that center, that resting place, and then arching up. So we have the front of the body tightening as you come into that flattened shape, belly tightening. And then you inhale into the belly, releasing the belly, and you have the back muscles tightening. We're not straining to get into any shape here, so only coming to that place that feels comfortable for you. And the next time you're breathing up into your arch, let that be the last time, and then exhale, come back to rest. Take a few moments here. Notice what you notice, how the body feels. And we're going to take a couple of bridges here. So again, if bridge doesn't feel right for you, you don't want to take this little inversion this morning, you can just keep going with those arch and flattens, just making sure that the body feels comfortable when you're taking them. So we'll take our bridge on our flattened shape here. So on the next exhale, exhaling down, tailbone rolls up, and just letting that tailbone lift off the mat, rest the back, one vertebrae at a time, lifting up. And maybe the first time you come up, you just come a quarter of the way or just a few inches off the ground. And then breathing the body back down to the mat, seeing if you can bring one vertebrae at a time down. And then you can have a rest here or inhale into a little arch. And then take that again when you're ready, exhaling, flattening that back down, tailbone rolls up, and that lifts the pelvis, lumbar spine, maybe a few of the thoracic spine vertebrae come up now. Maybe coming a little bit further up, pushing into those feet, letting the back body be tight so the glutes are switched on here, buttocks is working. And then allowing the body to come back down with the breath. You can take a little rest and just move through these bridge shapes as you'd like to. So maybe you're going a bit faster, maybe a bit slower. Maybe you want to start coming up a bit higher now. letting your breath be a guide here. And then if you'd like to, you can start to bring in the arms. So as you come up to that bridge, the arms can come up overhead. And they don't necessarily have to meet the floor here. They can just come kind of even halfway up, or they can come down to the floor. And then as you come down, the arms come down to the mat. But just taking that option only if it's comfortable for you and you want a little bit extra movement here. And let's make this maybe the last one or last two. And if you want to make this your last one, you can maybe have a little pause here, maybe with the arms up to the floor, up to the sky, pushing into those feet, feeling the back of the body working, those buttocks working. You take a breath or two here, releasing whenever you want to, or you can keep moving. And then slow motion, bringing the back of the body down. Each vertebrae meets the mat, bringing the arms down at the same time. And then as you arrive, taking your time, taking some resting breaths here, letting the body settle. And let's take a little wash rag shape so you can bring the feet out towards the edges of the mat here if you'd like. So widening the stance of the feet and just knocking the knees side to side. The head can roll in the opposite direction. Taking that gentle rotation, gentle twisting movement for the spine here. And you can take this as fast or as slow as you'd like. And then coming up to center, lifting one knee in the same arm, and we'll come up over to roll over to one side. And just take a few moments on your side body here, hugging inwards. And then pushing into the hands, stacking each vertebrae, coming up, and then we'll come to meet with our palms and knees on the earth. So coming into that cat-cow shape. And as you arrive, just feeling the support of the earth beneath you. And options here always are to bring a blanket underneath the knees, which I quite like to do. We have quite hard floor here. And you can always come down to the elbows as well, if this is kind of hard on the wrists, or use a cushion or a blanket underneath the hands as well. Let's take on some of our cat-cow movements here. Just feeling into the shapes, feeling support of the earth underneath the hands, the knees, top of the feet. And then on your next breath, breathing into the back of the body, arching upwards towards the sky, head and tailbone roll down. And then on the next phase of the breath, breathing the body, elongating the spine, head and tailbone reaching towards the front of the back of the mat. Breathing the body back into that arch, into that cat shape. And then breathing into that cow shape, elongating the spine. And if you're used to that kind of phase of exhaling into the cat, so exhaling as you rise up and then inhaling as you come through into that elongation, that cow, see if you can maybe change the phase of the breath here. So inhaling into the back of the body, inhaling into that cat shape, and then exhaling into the cow. And maybe this is how you take this movement normally. So maybe if you want to change up the breath the other way, and just notice how it feels to breathe in a different way here with these movements. And then adding on here as you come for your cat, you can bring the weight towards the knees, almost coming into that half kind of child's pose shape. And then as you elongate, bringing the weight towards the hands. And you can tuck the back toes here as well if you want a bit of movement or opening for the soles of the feet. Can feel quite good in the morning just to feel into those soles of the feet as you push back. Staying with your breath here, whatever phase of the breath you're using. And then from here, we can take some little rotations or circles. So bringing the weight to one hand and then to one knee, feeling into that side body, rotating or bringing the weight round to the other knee, onto the other hand, elongating, arching as you come through these movements as the weight transfers one hand, the other hand, to the knee, to the other knee. Almost circling the body round. And then you can change, switch it up, take it the other way, circling the other way round. Are you staying with your breath here? Are you noticing your breath? And then maybe you want to stay with these movements, have a play with these movements. And maybe you want to take some different movements here, just allowing any organic you want to make to come through. Maybe having a little rotation of the spine, fitting into the sides of the ribs here. Maybe having a little wag of the pelvis, noticing how that moves the spine, letting the head be part of that movement. Pushing back into the knees, bringing the weight towards the hands. Just moving however you want to move, taking this dancing bear shape. Maybe there's some places that feel a little bit stiff or sticky. You're feeling into those a little bit more. Maybe sticking with some familiar movements for you, or exploring different pathways, different ways of moving here. And we'll take another 5 or so cycles of breath with these playful movements. So just moving in your own way. No right or wrong way to move. And then when you're ready on the next few breaths, we'll bring the sit bones back towards the heels and coming back into that child's pose shape. And as you arrive in your child's pose, the knees can be out towards the side of the mat or more together. Hands can be out in front, or you can bring them behind you. And just bringing any support you need. So if you have blankets or a cushion or a pillow, you can bring that under the body if kind of being down towards the earth isn't as comfortable. If you are down towards the earth or your forehead's resting on something, you can maybe have a little roll side to side of the forehead on the earth. And just let that move the rest of the body, move the rest of the spine as well. So you can hear rocking side to side. And noticing the breath in the back of the body here in your child's pose shape. Breathing into the back of the lungs, back of the ribs, noticing the shoulder blades as they move here with the breath, maybe noticing that subtle movement outwards as you inhale and they come together as you exhale. And take 2, 3 more breath cycles here in your child's pose. Always coming out of a shape. If it doesn't serve you any longer, you can come up to the elbows as well. And then from where you are, pushing it into the legs, and we'll come back to that palms and knees shape. And from here, if you do have a blanket underneath you, maybe taking that away so you have your sticky mat, as we'll come into a few standing shapes soon. And so I'm going to cue a down dog. So if down dog is in your practice, taking that down dog as I cue it. And if it's not and you don't want to come into down dog today, you can come down to that elbows and knees shape here and take some movement here. So coming into that palms and knees shape and tucking the toes, and we'll bring the weight back towards the toes and then forward towards the hands a couple of times, just feeling into that transfer of the weight of the force between the hands and the knees. And then the next time you're rocking back towards the knees, just have a little lift of the knees up and then let them come back down to the earth as you come forward. So just having a play of lifting the knees up, bringing them down. And then on the next time you bring the knees up, let the tailbone and the pelvis come all the way, reach all the way up and back. Come through into your first downward dog of the class. And just making any adjustments with the hands, with the feet here that you need. Allowing a nice bend in those knees. And the heels don't have to be down to the mat. I've never been able to get them down to the mat, so it's not the aim in our downward dog here. Just taking any movement you'd like to make, so maybe bending into one knee, bending into the other, just bending a heel up, bringing it back down, transferring that over to the other side. You're taking some little twisting movements of the pelvis, or wagging the pelvis side to side. Moving however you want to move in your down dog here. Take another 3 breath cycles in your down dog. Pushing the hands away from the mat. So just noticing if you're collapsing kind of down into those shoulders, can you feel that push away from the earth through the shoulders, elongating the spine upwards towards that tailbone. We're going to come up to stand here. So if you are in your down dog and it serves you, you can walk the feet towards the hands, towards the front of the mat. Or if you're down on the knees as well, you can step one foot forward and then step the other foot forward. And we'll meet in our forward fold at the front of the mat here. So in your forward fold, allowing the knees to bend generously as much as you need. And the belly can kind of be resting down on the knees here. Or options are to bring the elbows up to the knees as well. And even the hands up to the knees here as well, if that serves you better. I quite like to have my elbows on the knees here. Just having a little sway side to side, let that neck be really soft. Elongating the back of the body down towards the earth. Taking any movement you like to make in the shape. And then bringing the hands towards the shins, breathing the hands up towards the top of the shins or the knees, coming into that halfway lift. Tailbone reaches towards the back of the mat, crown of the head shining towards the front, halfway lift. And then breathing the body down, bending at the knees, and then letting that breathe you all the way up to stand. So just taking your time, uncurling the body, each vertebrae stacking on top of each other, neck and head come up last. And when you arrive in your standing shape, maybe having a little movement or shake out, taking your time to arrive. And finding shape of your feet, which is comfortable for you. They don't have to be together. They can be in that hip width distance apart or even a little bit further out. And if it's comfortable, having a little close down of the eyes here or just having a soft gaze. And feeling into the feet here and noticing where the weight of the feet is on the earth. So maybe there's more weight on one foot than the other. And you can have a little rock side to side, going from one foot to the other. And then finding a place where there's kind of equal weight between each foot. Allowing a little bend, a little soft bend in the knees. Noticing the shoulders here, are you holding the shoulders up, or are you even trying to bring them down? Just letting the shoulders be really easeful, just melt them away from the ears. Crown of the head shining up towards the sky. And notice here, is there space for your breath? Is there space for your lungs? Is your belly soft, allowing the breath in the body? Allowing that inhale, that expansion, and that exhale, that condensing in. And feeling that balance between the earth, that movement downwards, and the movement, the energy coming upwards, that balance between earth and sky, yielding to the earth. We're going to take a couple of body rolls here. So from where you are, tucking the chin towards the chest, allowing that to bring you all the way down, bending at the knees, the arms can be soft. Gradually bringing the body down towards that kind of forward fold shape. And then as you arrive, tailbone anchors down towards the earth, and that allows the spine to start coming all the way back up again. So we're curling inwards and then unfurling back open. And take that a couple of times, curling inwards, coming down towards the earth, rolling the body down. And then as you arrive, beginning to unfurl, tailbone reaches down towards the earth, each vertebrae moving one at a time up towards the sky. Allowing the knees to bend as you take this movement. And if you have low blood pressure or this isn't that comfortable, you can just make this movement really small. So even just curling inwards here and then expanding outwards. Doesn't have to be a big movement. And an option here as well is the next time you come down to look towards one foot and allow that kind of side movement of the body down. And then as you come down towards the floor, circling the body towards center and then towards the other side and coming up the other way. So one arm will kind of be lower than the other as we come up and down. And then you can also take that on the other side. Maybe take this 1 or 2 more times if you're ready, just to end these movements. Just come up to stand. Take a few moments to rest. Taking your time, maybe letting this be your last one. Or just standing where you are, noticing how you're standing. Oh, and then just coming back to that Tadasana, that standing shape. Taking a couple of breaths here. And how's it feel just to be without moving? So we're going to take some warrior two shapes here in our standing. So we'll start with the right foot. So bringing the right foot towards the back of the mat and letting that heel come down and the toes come out towards the side of the mat here. And just finding that stance which is comfortable for you. That front knee bends over that front foot, so we have a communication between the knee and the front toes. And you might want to step the foot kind of out more towards one side of the mat or in more, just finding a place of stability which is comfortable, which allows this nice alignment in the front of the body as well, that front knee and that front foot. Once you've found your comfortable warrior two shapes, that pelvis is slightly out towards the side of the mat. Bringing the hands to those shoulders and then breathing the hands out from the shoulders. You might notice you kind of come into this kind of diagonal shape with the arms. And so breathing from the thoracic spine, having that little twist in the thoracic spine, the back of the body, to bring the arms to the front and back of the mat. So we have this alignment, this communication between the shoulders and the arms, and the twist is coming from the back of the body as opposed to forcing the shoulders to go to the front and back of the mat. Just feeling into this shape here, feeling that support from the earth through the feet, up through the legs, through the torso and through each arm and the crown of the head. And we'll come through a reverse or a peaceful warrior here. So flipping that front palm towards the sky and then allowing the body to come back over towards that back leg. And you can kind of allow the body to come quite far over or kind of stay up more towards the sky. We're not straining or forcing ourselves to get anywhere here. Just feeling that nice opening of the left side of the body here. Breathing into that left lung. Take one more breath cycle here. And then breathing the body back to that warrior two shape. And then from here, bringing the hands to center, and we'll bring those feet into that wide leg stance. So the toes coming out from the heels. And once you've found this wide leg position on the side of your mat, we'll take a forward fold. So breathing the body down here. And this is where you might like some support onto the hands if you want it. So you can either bring the hands down towards the floor, or you can bring them to a supportive structure here. Or an alternative is also to bring the elbows to the knees as well. And then just let the head come down towards the earth, the neck be soft. Another option as well is again to bring the hands towards the knees. You can kind of hang out in this shape if that's more comfortable for you. Just taking the option, the variation that suits. And you can kind of breathe into one leg, bring the weight towards one foot and the other, bending one knee more than the other. Or you can be in stillness here. We'll take another 2 breaths in our forward fold. And when you're ready, breathing the body all the way back up. And then this time, bringing that right foot out towards the back of the mat. Left foot comes in and we'll take our warrior two on the other side. So bending into that right knee, finding that comfortable shape for the back foot. And then when you're ready, breathing the arms out from the shoulders and then taking that little twist to the thoracic spine here. Warrior two on the other side. We'll take our peaceful warrior, so breathing that hand up towards the sky, front hand towards the sky, then coming all the way back towards that back leg. Just coming as far as is comfortable for you. Maybe it's you're more towards the ceiling or kind of upwards, or maybe it's more of that kind of curved shape. And breathing to that opening on the right side of the body this time. And everyone will kind of have slightly different look to their shapes, and not worrying about what I look like or anyone else looks like. If you could see them on the screen, this is feeling into what your body feels like in a shape. Is it comfortable for you? And then breathing the body back up into that warrior two. And then we'll rotate on that back foot, coming onto the ball of the toes. Taking a little bend in that knee, and then from there, springing forward, coming into our Tadasana towards the back of the mat. Have a little shake out there if you need. Letting it all go. And then we'll take a few breaths here. Feeling what you feel, notice what you notice. We're going to take that back now to the other way, and I'm just going to be on the other side of my mat, so I'm not facing away from the screen, but you're at the back of your mat. We're going to start with the right foot again. So bringing the right foot towards the back of the mat, setting up that warrior two shape again on this side. That agreement between the knee and the front toe. And then when you're ready, breathe in the arms out from the shoulders, taking that little twist, warrior two. And take 2 breath cycles here. And then this time we're going to come into our side angle. So that left elbow comes towards that front knee. And then that top arm, 2 options. It can either come up and over, or you can bring it under and across the body. And just see what feels better on your shoulder. So you could take that both ways. Just notice, okay, this is how my shoulder feels in this way. And when I bring it this way, this is how my shoulder feels. And seeing if you can create nice, clear alignment or line of force all the way from the back toe to that top fingertip. And seeing if you can also not collapse down into that front elbow. Have a little bit of suspension or a spring upwards. Breathing into this opening of the right side of the body here. And take 1 more breath cycle on your side angle. And then the arm brings the body all the way back up into our warrior two. And then from here, shuffling the feet, bringing them out towards the side of the mat. Toes are out, heels are in. Coming into that wide leg forward fold again. And once you set yourself up, breathing the body down, taking those options that are available to you. And the neck, head be soft towards the earth. Breathing into one leg, breathing into the other. Take 1 more breath here. And then breathe in the body all the way up. And taking that warrior two shape towards the front of your mat now. Bending that front knee over the front toes, breathing the arms out from the shoulders. A little twist in the thoracic spine. Warrior two. And we'll take side angle on this side. So breathing that front elbow towards the front knee. And again, have a little play of that arm, bringing it under and across and then over and around. Just see, how does my shoulder feel here? How does it feel best? And then maybe taking a little pause. And that arm can be kind of out towards the side. It could be more up to the sky. Just finding that comfortable shape for you. Head can be looking forward or up or down towards the earth. And take 1 more breath here, really breathing into this left side of the body, left lung. And then let that arm bring you all the way back to that warrior two shape. And take another 2 breath cycles here, really feeling into these strong standing shapes that give us stability, Feel how you feel in this shape. And again, rotating on that back toe, coming onto the ball of the toes and the back foot, bending that knee, having a little spring forward, coming into your Tadasana at the front of the mat. And again, just take any little shake out that you need, letting it all go. The hard work is done, our standing shapes are done, so it's letting it all flow out of the body, shaking out any tension that's still holding there. And just take 3 breath cycles here in our standing shape. Again, feeling what it feels like to just be with any feelings that are there, physical, emotional, in the mind. And then on the next breath, breathing the arms up towards the sky and then down through center, and letting yourself roll all the way down into that forward fold shape again. Taking those options you'd like to take, bending at the knees, elbows on knees. Having a little rock out, maybe one leg straightens, the other bends, rocking side to side. Head and neck long, elongated down towards the mat. When you're ready, bringing those hands down to the mat. An option here is to step the feet back into your downward dog shape, or you can come straight down and have your knees and palms on the earth. You can come into a child's pose. If you'd like to take a little downward dog before we come to rest, taking that option. Having any movements you'd like to make here, wagging the tailbone, bending into the knees. Take 3 more breath cycles if you are in your down dog. And at any time, allowing the knees to drop down to the mat. And rest back into a little child's pose here. Taking your time to get there. Maybe you just want to take a few more moments in your down dog, feeling free to do so. Bringing the body down to the earth in the next 2 or so breaths now. And if you're there, settling the body down, feeling into the earth. And taking some nice, long, deep inhales and exhales here in your child's pose, breathing into the back of the body. Feeling that support of the earth beneath you. And if you'd like, if your arms are out long in your child's pose, or you'd like to take this option, you can walk the hands to one side of the mat. Just go into that little stretch or sensation in one side of the body here. And then walking the hands through center if you've taken that shape, and bringing them to the other side of the mat. We just want a little bit of sensation on the side of the body. We're not trying to create too much of a pull or stretch. Let it be quite gentle. And then walking the hands through center. We'll just take another 2 or 3 breath cycles here. So we'll begin to set up for our rest. Maybe this is where you want to be in your child's pose, and you can bring support underneath the body, bring a bolster under the body if you want to rest there. Or if not, and you want to come to your back body, just letting each vertebrae come up one at a time, bringing the hands towards the body if they're out long. Letting the head come up last and then swinging those legs out to the side. And we'll come to lie on the back body. So I always recommend bringing any blankets underneath you, any support underneath the body, just taking a few moments to set yourself up. And as you arrive down, if you are coming onto your back body, you might want to take a little movement with the legs, that wash rag. So knees up to the sky and then just knocking them side to side, head rolling side to side. Another option, maybe bringing one knee in towards the chest gently and just having a few little circles, circling that femur bone in the hip socket here. Maybe bringing the other leg up. Or you can have both at the same time, circling them one way and the other. Just taking any final movements you want to make, whatever's calling to you. But if there are any movements, like happy baby or any other movements, just let them be quite active and keep moving with the shape. And so in the next few breaths, or the next few moments, letting yourself come to that resting shape. Maybe you want to stay moving for a bit longer, or maybe you're already there and you've been resting for a few moments now. And I always recommend bringing something onto the knees if you're lying, maybe a bolster, if lying kind of flat isn't that comfortable for your back body. Just bringing any support you want, having your blanket for the head, cushions, pillows, whatever you have in your house, which is available to make you as comfortable as possible in your rest. And so as you arrive, just really giving yourself permission to be in this shape for the next few minutes. Letting go of any holding in the body. Letting go of any holding in the glutes, the buttocks that might be holding, letting the belly be soft. Noticing if you're holding any tension or clenching the jaw, letting that go. Allowing the hands to be soft. Noticing if you're clenching or the fingers are inward, seeing if you can just let them be as they are, let them be soft and open. Always feeling free to make any little adjustments or wriggles you need during your rest. And coming back to the breath here. And as you breathe, again, just noticing if you can elongate that exhale slightly if it's comfortable to do so. Maybe if you'd like, at the end of your exhales, just pausing for a few moments before that inhale. And seeing if you can keep the inhale quite light and slow and deep. And at any point, just letting it go if it becomes uncomfortable. But if you do feel a little slight need for, or feeling of needing a little bit more air, or that air hunger, just knowing that's completely normal and quite beneficial to take this for a few moments each day. It just allows the carbon dioxide in our blood to increase, which allows actually more oxygen to be delivered to our cells. Vasodilator, so it allows the blood vessels to open slightly wider as well. You might feel that your fingers or your toes or the body, there's a little bit more warmth in the body when you elongate the exhale. So just either taking this breath or just letting it go, being as you are. We'll take a few minutes for our Shavasana in silence. So the joy of practicing our yoga online is that if you'd like to stay in your Shavasana for longer, feeling absolutely free to do so, you can just turn off the Zoom call. I won't be offended. Just let yourself stay there as long as you'd like. If you want to finish together, and just allowing a few moments here to come back into the body, wherever you've been, wherever you were, noticing the body where it rests down on the earth, noticing any sensations, feeling the support, the textures underneath you, around you, maybe of blankets, of mat, carpet, whatever there is around the body. And taking some little movements for the toes, for the fingers, just beginning to gently reawaken the body. We have a little stretch out. Just waking up, maybe like you did this morning, if you had a leisurely wake up. And then when you're ready, in the next 3 or so breaths, just rolling over gently towards one side, hugging inwards, curling inwards, giving your heart a little hug. And then we'll come to meet in a seated shape to pose together. Just taking a few moments to arrive there, using any support underneath the sit bones that you'd like. If you like having the eyes closed or just having a soft gaze. Breathing the arms up out to the side, over the body. And then rest down on the body, maybe having one on heart, one on belly. Maybe both on heart or down on the legs. And just sending yourself so much gratitude, appreciation, compassion for coming practicing together this morning online, taking this time for yourself. Sending everyone else on this call lots of love and gratitude for gathering together this morning. Arahamai, Arahaatu, love and compassion received, love and compassion given. Thank you, everyone.
Namaste, Lucy.